Morning, Bill here with the Metals Minute. Today's Friday, July 8th, 2022. We have some conflicting information coming out this morning as we see the metals moving higher, stocks moving lower at the time of this video. Platinum and palladium, the biggest winners over the last day or two. But what we see is they're reporting a headline jobs report number saying that that number came in higher than expected, and therefore interest rates are projected to be increased more because they're showing that the job market, the headline I just read on financial media said the job market is showing that it's shrugging off the recession fears. But in reality, when you look into the numbers, there's conflicting information that's causing confusion on Wall Street and elsewhere. And I believe that's one reason we see the metals doing better today, and with the uncertainty, metals seem to sense the uncertainty, and traditionally they figure things out oftentimes before the rest of the market. But one of the issues is the headline number for the jobs report is higher, but when you look into the details, the number of people working full-time is lower. The number of people working part-time jobs is down, but the number of people working multiple jobs is up. And then add to that the last 2 months jobs reports, they announced the headline that the number of jobs created, and then they've quietly revised both of them lower. And unfortunately, the press, they're broadcast in the press when they're initially announced, but then it's more quietly revised lower in the following months. So the only people that see that are those that are looking for those numbers and know where that information comes out. And it's not publicized at the same rate as when they announced the job numbers initially and announced them higher. And then quietly, a month or two later, they revised them downwards. So revisions are necessary because people make mistakes sometimes and there's new information that's made available. But it seems like with many of our financial reporting lately, revisions are becoming just a normal tool of the trade. So that's concerning because we don't know for certain, okay, is that anywhere close to reality what we're hearing, or is that just what they're wanting us to think now? So we have that uncertainty going on. We also have concerns about energy. The strategic petroleum releases from our oil reserves are the highest in history. We've never had such a quick drawdown, but there's also confusion because we're also selling some of that oil overseas while we supposedly need it here. So that's uncertain. We also have some military analysts, retired military analysts from think tanks at West Point, my old alma mater, that are releasing information that's contrary to what is being told in the media about the war in Ukraine. And these retired military insiders are saying that essentially it's not going well at all in Ukraine, and the Russians are, unfortunately, the Ukrainians are suffering many casualties from their military, many of them going into service not even trained, having very little training. One report said 20% of them have never fired a weapon before they're being sent to the front. So this is not the same story that we're hearing in the headlines. And of course the Dutch food protests, the farmers protesting in the Netherlands, is another issue. That they're a major food exporter behind the United States. And so with them not being able to produce food, that's going to impact many regions around the world. So we have a lot of uncertainty and a lot of numbers that just are being thrown out there that aren't all adding up, and it creates an environment where we do have recession. We've met that requirement of what a recession is defined as because of the numbers that came out in the second quarter. But we hear the jobs numbers are better than expected, and yet we also have other reports that are conflicting that. Hours being reduced, layoffs being announced, and the participation rate. Here's the other thing. The jobs participation rate, meaning the percentage of working age people actually working, continued to go down. Even while we're hearing that jobs are higher than expected, the percentage of people that can work, that are working, went lower. So these are conflicting informations. It's one reason Wall Street's having trouble digesting it. The markets, stock markets are lower, but the metals are holding their own very well, continue to be the best performers year to date, and I believe we're going to see significant increase between now and the end of the year. And like I say, the metals seem to suss out the truth somehow. They have throughout history. And when things start not making sense, that's an environment where people tend to go to something more certain and solid, and that's precious metals. Have a good weekend. Stay cool. It's been hot out there. We appreciate you tuning in, and God bless you and yours. We'll see you next week.